Ministry of Philip. You need to understand here, this is not the Apostle Philip, but this is one of the deacons. He's referred to in Scripture as Philip the Evangelist, or Philip, one of the seven deacons. More than likely, he was not from Judah. He was a Jew, but probably not from Judah. He was one of what was called the Hellenistic Jews, one that lived in a Gentile area. And he was selected because he could bring a balance between the widows that were from Judah and those who were not. Which means that he would feel more comfortable around Gentiles, which is, in this case, is a good thing because he goes to Samaria, which the apostles would not feel comfortable with, and most of the Jews that lived in Judah would not. But he was able to go there. And later on, he would go to Caesarea, which was a very Gentile city, and he could have a ministry there. Interesting, it also talks about him having 4 unmarried daughters that were in ministry who prophesied. Very distinction here. I find it interesting in the fact that he leaves Jerusalem because of a man named Saul who was persecuting the church. Years later, the same man, now called Paul, the Apostle Paul, would go to Caesarea and stay in Philip's home. What a change. You think about the preparation of the city of Samaria and the country of Samaria. We know that Jesus went there and spent several days. There was a woman at the well, and how he went into the village, and many of them received Christ as Messiah. But there's another event that happened right before Philip got there that I think may have had something to do with it. That's just my opinion. Right before Philip got there, there was the people of Samaria held to the 5 books of Moses. They didn't accept any of the rest of the Old Testament, just the 5 books of Moses. But there was a superstition among them that Moses himself came to Mount Gerizim, right in their area, and hid some special vessels, holy vessels. And they didn't know where it was, but for years they held to this. One of the holy men for their religion suddenly said that on a particular day, Moses himself was going to appear on Mount Gerizim and give them those holy vessels. So a large mass of Samaritans went to Mount Gerizim, and they were armed. They came to arm for whatever reason. Pilate found out about this and thought it was a rebellion. So he brought in an army and slaughtered many of them. This is when Rome felt like Pilate had gone too far, and they removed him from power and sent him back to Rome, where he committed suicide. But think of it from the people's viewpoint. They believed that Moses was going to come. They knew the prophecy that it was said, that Moses said that there will be a prophet like Moses who would come. They thought it was him himself. And what a disappointment. They had been misled. Many of their people slaughtered. And then along comes Philip, preaching the good news that Jesus was that prophet just like Moses. I don't know. I think that the people were prepared, that the Spirit of God used this event to prepare the people for Philip. The Ethiopian. He was either Jewish, serving in Ethiopia, or he was a proselyte, a Jewish proselyte. Be that it may, I find it interesting that he's baptized in front of all of his servants. Now, it says that he was the treasurer for the queen. This was actually the queen mother. In Ethiopia at that time, the king was considered a holy man, and too holy to be bothered by the running of government and overseeing the affairs of state. And so in all the cases, his mother was always the one who actually ruled the country. This is who the Ethiopian worked for, was the mother. He was treasurer for the head of state. And now he's being baptized in front of all of his servants. And as he goes back to Ethiopia, this is a very important man, and the impact of his testimony shakes that country. Philip would go to Caesarea, and here he would spend about 20 years. And during that time, the Apostle Paul would come. Well, come back next time when we give you more insights on the story.